Don't give away my slides. Okay, so the title of my talk today is Careening Across the Sea of C's, because I'm an English teacher and the word careening means to move swiftly in an uncontrollable direction. And I think that sometimes, you know, as teachers, classroom teachers, we're confronted with all these ideas, but then we're busy and sometimes it becomes quite overwhelming and we feel out of control. I'd just like to say as well a quick apology to Renato, because I said I was going to talk about creativity today, but I lied. Okay, so I just took over the job of head teacher teaching and learning at the beginning of last year at Manly Selective Campus, and over the last 18 months there's been a lot of things that I have kind of had the responsibility of introducing or kind of throwing at my colleagues. These are just some of them came from the department and some of them came from our school plan, so you can see just from looking up at that slide, that's kind of a lot of things to force on people you didn't know 18 months ago. Another thing that we introduced at the very beginning of this year is actually new reporting proficiencies that actually capture a whole bunch of these C's that we've been talking about, or we're going to be talking about today, because we wanted to try to show our staff and our parent body that we really value these things. So these are actually the proficiencies that all teachers are required to report on. And you can imagine that that's pretty hard, because previously we had kids bring their books to class, kids are polite, and now we've got some big things like critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and they're very difficult things to assess. So what I decided to do today is to actually celebrate my committed, courageous colleagues at Manly Selective Campus, because over the last 18 months they've really wowed me with the things that they have done. So I'm just going to do a quick tour of the awesome stuff that my colleagues have done in terms of creativity, collaboration, critical thinking, and communication, because, you know, they rock. Okay, so the first thing, project-based learning. I'm a bit of a loser for project-based learning. It's what I've been doing for the last 6 years in my classroom, and introducing that to teachers who perhaps haven't had an opportunity to do it before can be a bit overwhelming. But the cool thing is that the staff at my school kind of went, all right, cool, let's have a go at this. So we just want to share with you some of the cool projects that they have started designing. PDHPE are actually, I think, probably the most committed when it comes to project-based learning. They're pretty much turning their whole curriculum into projects, which is awesome. And this was the first project that I worked with them on, and I think the question itself really gets to the guts of what we're meant to be doing. We're getting the kids to engage with their local community, but also with the wider problems that face them as young people. P.S. It's really colourful and they're creative. The Japanese teachers ran this cool project. My son was in Year 8 last year and he participated in it, where Year 8 had to essentially sell to parents the idea of travelling overseas to Japan, and as their guest experts they invited Japanese-speaking parents to be the judges, and they also got to have these delicious bento boxes. I maybe ate my son's one. So I thought that was a really great way of getting the kids engaged and connecting with experts. Coming up later this year, Art and English are actually developing quite a creative project where they're answering this huge philosophical question, do masks conceal or reveal? And the Year 7 students will be working in English and in art to create masks and explore the concept of masks, and then putting on a performance for the OC students at Mona Vale Public School, which is pretty intimidating and totally awesome. Maths and creativity, yeah. Okay, why is algebra necessary? This is a question that all kids ask, and particularly Year 8 students, and I love that the maths department went, you know what, we're just going to throw that question at them and get them to answer it. Pretty clever. Collaboration, that's me, because it's the only photo I could find from our School of Oculus Rift, but I had a great time at the end of last year, actually playing one of the Year 10 students' Oculus games that he made. It was pretty terrifying actually if you've ever tried out Oculus Rift. So the TAS department for the last couple of years have been doing a great project called Project Utopia, and they're going to move on with HISI and do this awesome virtual reality simulation. STEM quadcopters, which is happening with Year 8, so science, technology, engineering, maths, very exciting. I've been connecting with the teaching and learning team, and we've been thinking about how we can make sure that wellbeing and academics are being covered with our cross-curricular projects. And of course, I've forced them to do a teach meet as well, which is kind of scary. Critical thinking, both English or English, PE and HISI have all been trying out Socratic circles. Maths have been introducing learning journals, getting kids to identify their strengths and their weaknesses. English have been trialling Jeff Petty's goals, medals and missions, and they've introduced it all the way up to Year 12, which is totally awesome of them, I think. And then of course communication. Head teacher of English has been getting her Year 12 extension English students to create blogs and basically share their critical thinking about one of the books that they're studying, so using technology. And then science, art and TAS have all been doing wonderful things with Google Drive. So finally, thank you so much for my staff for putting up with me and going on this excellent journey careening across the sea. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bianca. Wow, a lot of good things happening there at Manly Campus, and I'm sure